I just wanted to give everyone a heads up that we know our audio is a little off, but give us some grace as we welcome ourselves back into the Wild One. Welcome back, Wild Ones.
Welcome back, y'all.
This is Susie, your LCSW for this journey.
I'm Marcus D., your certified life coach, certified financial advisor. We are just here and we're excited to welcome you back to the new year.
We hope and invite you to come into this conversation today. Just take a nice cleansing breath, whether you're driving or doing dishes. We know that a lot of you are listening to podcasts while doing things, and we are wondering if anyone out there is already feeling behind. It is mid-January. We're a little bit nervous, and I know that there can be a lot of pressure to keep going, but most importantly, we want to say, take a breath. There is relief. You don't have to be at any point just yet.
You know, I agree with you because society definitely puts pressures on us as far as goal setting, and goals are great, right? You want to set goals, but a lot of times society is like, if you are not at this goal by this date, you are failed. And that is a misconception, and that is flat out wrong. If you fail at your goal, that just means, guess what? There's room for improvement. So don't give up, keep trying, and just set your own goal, but set realistic expectations for that goal as well.
We want to really invite you into this episode and just say, if this new year already feels quieter or maybe heavier than expected, emphasis on the heavier, then you are not doing anything wrong. We're here to remind you that your wild one can continue to rise, and we don't have to have a perfect timeline or all of this productivity. And so I'm just wondering, how would you say you reflect on January 1st? Does it feel performative to you, or does it feel like a pressure to do something different?
So January 1st is one of those cultural expectations that does put pressure. And it's a falsehood, because you can start whenever you want. You can start in June, February, September. I don't know what or when this started with January 1st, new year, new me. I mean, that's a great idea, but again, like I said before, it puts unnecessary pressure on you. It's January 1st. I have to be able to accomplish all my goals by September. I mean, that's great. That's a great expectation. But if it doesn't happen, then we get defeated, we get down, and it's just a cycle that we repeat year after year after year. So that's the reason for this podcast, because January 1st does not have to be your reset. You can reset whenever you want. You can reset in February and June. Right? It's like Talladega Nights. If you're not first, you're not last. And then the dad's like,
you can be second, you can be third.
You can be second, you can be third. Hell, you can be even fifth. So it's like, you don't have to, don't put that unnecessary pressure on you on January 1st. Just be mindful and saying, I'm in control of my life. And yes, I did not accomplish my goals by February, but I can reset. So, what are your thoughts about that too?
I'm just wondering, if you've heard about the 12-week year, because it really goes in alignment with what you're saying. It's a book, and I wish I had the author, but I will post to you the book and the author in the show notes. But really, it's an idea that you can have a new year celebration and goal every 12 weeks. So essentially broken the year up into quarters. And I love this because let's not just have one goal set on January 1st and try it for 365 days. What if at I don't know, day 75, you're like, crap, that goal is not something I have a goal for anymore. Great. You've learned a bunch of things trying to achieve that goal, and it's okay to pivot and shift. And we don't always have to stick to the things we put out first, but also, just like you said, you can start at any point, anytime. New goals, new you can happen every morning when you wake up. Hashtag I woke up this way. Or you can just continue to stick with the one goal, just really leaning into what works best for you.
And I like a little bit what you're saying on top of that. It's expectation versus reality. So the expectation is I'm January 1st, just because it hits a new year, that means that I'm going to accomplish all my life goals and everything's going to be perfect and I'm going to be able to nail everything. Reality, 3 weeks in, you're back to your old habits. You're back to sliding back to, habits that maybe you're not proud of. But again, it's okay because we're human. So what happens is we have that expectation of let's be perfect. And like Susie said, perfection isn't real. It's not obtainable. You can try to obtain to for improvement, but even if you mess up, that's okay. That's the part of natural cycle of life and say, "Yes, I messed up, but let me try to improve." So expectation versus reality. Expectation, I'm going to go to the gym every single day, for the next 3 months. Reality, you go once a month. Okay, that's the reality, right? So
If
you
that's
go.
kind of what's working for your schedule, it's like get something in rather than nothing. It's kind of getting away from the all or nothing mentality.
Exactly. So if the reality is you can only go once a month, then reset your expectation from every day to I can go once a month. So when you hit that goal of once a month, you're like, I'm hitting my goal because you're setting a realistic expectation. So you want your expectations to be realistic. So that is a good point that you're talking about. And then also to again, even for myself, a personal observation, not now, but before, years back, I would say, yeah, new year, I'm going to do something. I don't. It doesn't matter. But I would set this expectation of I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and I wouldn't do it, and I beat myself up. But that's what I'm saying. Like I'm here at the point now where it's like the reality is I don't set a New Year's resolution. Every day I'm looking to improve. That's what I'm trying to convey to our audience is don't look for January 1st to change or to have a resolution. Look for every day to improve, to reflect and pause and say, who am I and how can I be a better person? And again, it doesn't have to be perfection, but how can I be better tomorrow than I was yesterday? So that is what I want to just try to convey to our audience today.
I love it. Essentially, kind of stepping away from new year, new you, and you can make a new you at any point. I'm just wondering, do you have any suggestions on how to help people if they feel stuck in this sense of urgency or this hustle based culture that we have here in America?
I do have a suggestion because when you are in this hustle based culture, it's because it's all you know. You are stuck in this cycle of produce. Time is money. Money, what is the saying? If you're not, what is the saying?
If you're not first, you're last, Ricky Bobby.
Not that, but just like, no, what time, not time is money, but what am I trying to
Yeah,
say?
time is money.
Like,
You're going to pay for something one way or another with
right,
time or money.
but again, you know what time is your personal peace of mind, okay? So, don't just equate time is money. Time is your time to reflect. Time is your moment to reset and pause because when you get caught up in, if I'm not moving, I'm not being productive, that is where you can get caught in a loop where and even you're guilty and I'm guilty of it too. You're sitting around your home doing nothing. You're like, I should be doing something. I should be doing something. No, my one of my favorite cultures is in Spain where they do a siesta. And guess what they do? From like 2 o'clock, and again, I don't know the exact time, but for 3 hours in a day, the whole culture shuts down. No one's working, no one's doing anything. Everyone comes together and they all talk about the local day. They all talk about their day. Could you imagine if that happened in America? People will lose their mind. Like,
I
why?
can already hear myself from even when I was working in corporate, like what about my productivity though? How do I get my productivity numbers if I'm taking a nap in the middle of the day?
Right, and that's why we have to take naps in the middle of the day because our bodies need to reset. Our bodies want to reset. So again, I get that our culture is not built for a 3-hour siesta. That's fine. But you can at least do a 3-minute, like, reflection, right? If you're not doing something, that doesn't mean you're being unproductive. It just means that you are taking that time to pause and reflect. So that's what I want to say to our audience is, if you have, look for that downtime. Look for that time to reflect, to pause, and say, let me take a breath and let me just look and reflect around. Because if you're not doing something, that does not mean you're unproductive. It just means you're taking a pause, and that's okay. And our society is like, no, time is money, time is money. But no, time is also peace of mind. It's also reflecting, and so you wanna be mindful of that.
I love that. I think it's a nice transition into, something that I wanted to bring awareness to, which is about your nervous system and trying to give yourself pause and really be aware of what your nervous system is going through. And when we talk about nervous system, I want you to lean into this part, which is curiosity instead of pressure. Because, in full transparency, around December, I went to a chiropractor and I decided to sign up for this package that the chiropractor is talking about as a nervous system reset. And I was like, how does my chiropractor and my spine and all this cracking affect my nervous system? But she expressed to me that a lot of us have our nervous system on high drive. And the truth is, if any of my clients are out there listening, we've talked about it. I often share with you, like, it sounds like your nervous system is on hyperdrive. It's turned on, it's firing hot, and it's looking at everything like it's a major danger zone. And it's okay if we don't understand why our body thinks everything's a danger, but we wanna try to find clarity, and that's where the reset comes in.
Exactly, because you're again, stress has a lot of different negative aspects to our body, whether it's mental, physical. You can get yourself sick, you can get yourself, just under the weather, but also too, now we're learning it's affecting our nervous system. So being mindful, being not putting these pressures on ourselves. And again, it's a cultural thing. I don't know if this is a good thing I want to research, and maybe we'll talk about in a future podcast. But do other cultures have New Year's resolutions? Or is it our culture that's saying it's the new year? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna change? But it's like,
It leans into that hustle culture and also that productivity culture.
yes, exactly. So, but I don't think other cultures, and again, I'm gonna look into it, but other cultures may not have this. So we just need to, just because society says, let, new year, new you, again, you can set your own boundaries. You can set your own parameters and say, yeah, it's a new year, but you know what? It's the same me. I like me. Or I'm gonna make minor adjustments, but I'm not gonna wait till the new year. Because a lot of people are struggling in June and July, August, and they're just like, well, they don't think about resetting then because society tells us, well, we need to reset in January. No, we can reset whenever we want. So just bear that in mind that, are you're the one thing in life that you can control. My favorite quote from the Hamilton.
Well, we're not at the musical muse just
I This
yet.
is not a musical muse, but it's just me pulling from my favorite musical. But yeah, you are the one thing in life you can control. So control that. Hey, I'm. It's a new year. I don't need to change anything. Or I'm in March and I'm struggling. What changes do I want to implement to better my life?
And I think in order to do that, we really have to ask for clarity, right? So, if you're in a place where maybe you're not driving, maybe not operating heavy machinery, I invite you just to ask your body what it needs to feel safe enough to excel to get rid of that intensity, rid of that productivity culture. Because if we're saying you can define yourself at any point and you can new you at any point, then we want to also give you a something that would make that more tangible because we don't know what we don't know. And so if clarity is kind of coming to you right now, this is where we want to speak directly to you, wild ones, because we have something exciting. If you are at that point where your diet has already kicked off, does anyone have double stuffed Oreos in their cupboard?
I do.
We do,
I do.
but we didn't say we weren't going to eat Oreos
Mm.
this year because, we're not setting ourselves up
I'm
for
not setting
failure.
myself up for failure. I have Oreos, and that's a part of my resolution.
Well, Oreo is part of my diet.
Yep.
And so, but with all of that, I think most importantly, we want to say, let's define a new concept. If we're not just waiting for the new year, new you, New Year's resolution, what are we doing here? And we want to talk to you about wild one rising words. And we want to really distinguish this from resolutions because this isn't about resolving anything. This is about leaning in and growing and identifying what is already speaking to me now. And we want to emphasize that your search for your internal identity, the energy that you're carrying, your attempts to get to your true self and feel embodied in this life, that's what Wild One Rising is all about. And we ask you this kind of question: what's rising within you this year? What do you want to have rise within you this year?
And again, when we say, yeah, rising versus expectation and goal setting. So one of my key words that I want to say what rising in my wild one, and again, we all have it. Your word can be different from our word. It's whatever resonates in you. So for me, and again, just the concept of everyday life, it's going to be for me is endurance. Endure, endure, endure. Just keep on enduring. And it's so important because the weight of the world can feel like so much gravity is pushing on your shoulders to where you wake up in the morning and you don't want to get out of bed, or you're in the middle of the day and you just want to leave work because your boss is being mean to you, or a coworker is being rude, a customer is being rude, and you just want to just quit. And, I've been there. Susie's been there. But you just endure. Tomorrow can bring a better day. Tomorrow can bring, with every sunset, will follow a sunrise. So just, try to remember that. Even though in that moment it can feel hopeless and just impossible, you just need to endure to the next moment because you never know what's going to be around the corner. So I would like to share with you, like I said, a should versus truth, because I'll share with you with one of my previous jobs where it's like, oh, hey, I should be fine with my job, my previous job, because I'm a hard worker and I do great and I show up early and I do this. And then me and Susie, I'm gonna share at least with me, we had a couple losses in our family. And the truth of the matter was,
Nothing like getting fired for having your dads die.
yeah, so the should of that was I should be fine because I'm an amazing worker. I got accolades. The boss told me how great I was doing. The truth of the matter was Susie's dad died and my dad happened to die
Just too close together.
a month later. So the truth of it was you're fired because how dare two family members die? Like that's
In
like
less than 90
in
days
less
of
than
each
90
other.
days. So, and I was shooketh by that. I was really shooketh. My reality said I should be fine because my work is hard. But you know what? And I'm not even mad at that job because the truth of it is they said, no, we don't accept that. And I said, okay, I will go to a company that will. So again, you just want to set that realistic expectation of should versus truth. And it can be hard. And if you find yourself in that position where you're like, oh, well, I should XYZ, and the truth is no, then go to support of your friends, your family, and just lean on any support. Or if you need to talk to, professional support, again, we offer it here with, Susie LCSW and me as a life coach. But just be mindful that
Try not to should yourself, you
do not should
guys.
yourself. Do
If you
not
didn't know already, shoulding is a cognitive distortion that wraps us up in rumination, anxiety, depression. And so let's leave the shitting behind.
the shitting,
The
the
shoulding.
shitting.
It is a play on words that therapists love to use, and look for moments of truth.
And also too that, when we're talking about the rising of the wild one, it doesn't require immediate action. So you could feel this pull to say, I feel this wild one rising in me. I need to do, no, I don't, you don't need to do anything right away. Again, stop, pause, reflect, and take your time and map out your next move carefully. My favorite example is chess. Right, when a great chess player, I'm not a great chess player. I'm like less than mediocre, but
You're
still,
less than mediocre at
but I
checkers,
but I still beat you at chess. So you know what?
but you're not a checker player.
But chess. Okay, all right, chat. I want you guys to say what takes more skill, chess or checkers. Okay, she's trying to give me sass here, but let's. Chess is the thinking person's game. Anyways, moving on. Moving on. Chess, you need to think 7 to 8 to 10 moves ahead. It's not just, oh, let me move my piece here. No, you need to be able to say, when I move my piece here, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. So again, but that's not immediate action, right? To win a game of chess, and I do equate life as like a game of chess, you know, if you need to plan out what is, plan out ahead. And if things, and again, just like chess, you could be like, well, I'm going to move this piece here, and something goes bad, don't freak out. Readjust, pause, and say, and adapt. Adaptability. We are humans, we're adaptable, and don't freak out when you're like, well, I planned everything out and everything should be perfect. Like, that's great. But life likes to throw you curveballs. Or what is it? Forrest Gump, life is like a box of
You
chocolates.
never know what you're gonna get.
You love our southern
I think
accent
we're
here.
gonna have not only a musical muse section, we're gonna have some like movie quote sections here, but really just leaning in and saying, if you're not taking immediate action on that rising word right now, embrace it and recognize that noticing is enough for right now. As I said, I've been doing this chiropractor reset now. It's been about a month. And today the chiropractor, walked me through some mindfulness meditation, which was really beautiful. And she kind of left the room. She said, I'm going to leave you with like where you're at in this piece. Notice and have a conversation with your body, have a conversation with your soul. And I noticed that there was this feeling of not wanting to lead from a scarcity mindset. It's something I've been working on for a long time. Check out the show notes. There's a great book in there that can help you if you're having that scarcity mindset. And I just told myself, I had a conversation with myself and I said, I'm not going to move from a scarcity mindset. You are not in a scarce position. We have a roof over our head. We're safe. And it was interesting. It may not always end up like this as we move throughout the year, but within an hour of having that conversation with myself, someone that I didn't know, like if they were going to be a part of my practice anymore, a paying participant, and I said, "Oh, I don't know if they're going to be here anymore. I'm not sure." But I had that conversation. I said, "I'm not going to lean in to scarcity. I'm going to lean into a feeling of abundance." And then that prodigal person came back and said, "Oh, I still want to continue with you. Let's do this." And it was really exciting. And I say that because sometimes just sitting and noticing, the universe or your higher power or whatever that is going to give you that smack that says, okay, here you go, you did it. But sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So be patient with it. And I think that's really my intent behind this idea of creating your wild one rising word.
Yeah, what was your but you didn't share mine was endurance. You wanna share what your
Ah, yes, I did not share, but, you had said right before our recording, like, "Oh, you don't want endurance?" And I was like, "Oh, I've endured for a long time."
okay.
So if there
Mhm.
so if there are those people out there who are hearing Marcus's word of endure and you're embracing it, awesome. If there are those of you who feel like, "I don't want to endure anymore, I want something else." I recognize for me that I endure a lot, but I lack consistency. And I wonder to myself, if I was more consistent, would I have to endure as much? And so I think this year, 2026, I'm looking for consistency, trying to stay on a positive track. I'm not necessarily one track minded because that's not how this ADHD brain works, but definitely saying, let me pick my tracks and stay focused there and stay consistent with them because I really want to have more harvesting in this year.
And again, I was going to pick consistency, but I think endure does pair well with consistency. In order to endure, you have to consistently endure, and you have to endure consistently because if you pick and choose your spots, you can find yourselves just being overtaken, overwhelmed by whatever what life throws you. So again, wild ones rising. Pick your word, whatever it is, and just talk to a friend, a neighbor, someone that you feel close with. See what their word is. Maybe your words connect, and then talk about how you can support each other in whatever your words are. Because again, for Susie's word, it's consistency. My word is endure, but our words are connected together, so we can talk with each other. I can maybe share how she can endure consistently, and maybe she can share with me how to consistently endure. So we can learn from each other, and we can keep dreaming and just keep pushing forward with aspirations.
And I'm wondering, did you just give us a hint at the musical
Blah blah blah. I
muse?
did. By the way, I'm excited about the musical muse. Blah blah blah. Do we have music for the?
Bum, bum,
Do we have
bum.
intro music or
You know what, guys? I think we need to create a little musical muse
muse
intro
intro?
music.
All right.
So
If
if,
we don't have it for this one, we'll have it soon.
but if also you're listening and have a talent of creating music, send us over a clip that you want to be as a musical muse intro.
We would
We would
love
love
to
to host you and give you all the props and credit.
and give you all the credit. So again, the musical muse today, and we have a new image that ChatGPT helped us. So is it going to be on YouTube or is it just
Yes,
going
if
to be?
you are listening on YouTube, you are going to see, and we're not even going to be shameful about it. We use ChatGPT. It turned your host, Marcus, and myself into some amazing anime characters. And then I said, can y'all give us a musical muse background with this same vibe? And it is serving.
We look great, chat. I'm like, I don't want to say
I can't wait to see what our anime shorts are going to be one day.
right. We're gonna have like a whole anime like cartoon. Like this is the beginning, chat. All right, we're gonna. But I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, so but yeah, we
All
are
right, so
excited.
we'll go back to our musical
Musical
muse.
muse insert intro if we have it. If not, then that's fine. We'll have it next time. All right. So for this musical muse, it is one of the most inspiring songs that have motivated me. Again, as you know, I'm Marcus C, your certified life coach. But my passion is music, performing, being on the microphone, rapping, singing, just performing. And one of the most inspiring songs for this musical muse is by the band Aerosmith, and the song is Dream On.
Dream on.
Dream On, right?
In case
And
you didn't know what it sounded like,
yeah,
we did a perfect image of
that
how that sounds.
that was 10 out of 10 would
10 out of
recommend.
10.
Yeah, the vocals on that, just the message of just just don't give up on your dreams. just keep pushing forward, and then just that loud scream at the
Oh,
end.
it's so primal. He's like, dream until your dreams come true. And then that primal, like, the note, like, we can't even hit it.
I'm not gonna try. Yeah, I'm not
We
gonna
will blow out our microphones, we'll blow out your eardrums, but
listen
oh,
to it right now. Are we able to play a sample? Are we doing a
you know
sample?
what? If you're listening on
YouTube?
on maybe YouTube, sometimes it demonetizes it or takes it away, but you might be able to hear a little snippet of it if you were listening on Apple or Spotify.
So if you have not heard that song, please, if we're not able to play it, look it up on YouTube. Aerosmith Dream On. It's inspired me to just pursue my dreams and just my dreams of music, performing. And I love what I do here as a life coach. In addition to that, I'm going to, again, pursue my dreams of being a performer. And I'm going to keep dreaming on, dream on.
Dream until your dreams come true.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Oh, I
Sorry. All
said
right.
we weren't
Yeah,
gonna
all
blow
right.
the
So I
eardrums.
got carried away. I'm sorry, child. Anyways, again, this is a musical muse, and if you have suggestions for the future musical muse, give us. We'll shout you out, or if you want to help us edit an intro, reach out to us on the comments. We want to just
I would
engage.
even be willing to say for our listeners out there, if you have a song that you want to be in our musical muse, we will create an episode around that musical muse and topic. We'll get real creative here because I do think that we need moments to engage with each other. We want to sit together, even if it's virtually in your ear holes and trying to figure this out together. We want to hold whatever's rising for you. We don't want to fix anything. We don't want to force anything, but we are willing to get creative on your level and try to give you exactly what you need. And if you don't know what you need, and if you don't know what your wild one rising word is right now, we ask you to dream on about what it might look like for 2026.
What we're trying to say, chat, is we like you, and we hope that you like us and engage with us. If there's questions you have, if there's topic conversations you want us to cover, if there's questions you want to ask us individually, you're like, hey, I'm a little shy, I don't want to put it, message us directly, and then we're here to just give you the best advice we can. And if we don't have the answer, we'll guide you to the best resource of saying, hey, we don't know the answer, but look at these resources, and you know what? Here's where you can look at to keep your wild one rising and to keep dreaming on.
Keep dreaming on, you guys. And I think, as we kind of are moving through this podcast, I feel like we've given you guys so much rich material, so many things to think about. And I really want to take a pause, especially after our amazing singing abilities.
Amazing.
I know that you guys are feeling so overwhelmed by not only are we talented podcasters, therapists, and coaches, but we are also talented musicians. But with all of that, take a nice cleansing breath, refind your posture, stop laughing at all of us. It's fine. We embrace it,
No
but we're
one's
going to ask you
laughing
to
at us.
settle in.
No one's laughing. We're great.
Think about some things that, might be feeling like what's making you feel tired this year or right now, or what are you feeling tired from that you maybe brought in from 2025? Think about what feels curious to you. And is there anything that keeps resurfacing? Just embrace, emphasize that you are safe and that you're recognizing all of these things with non judgment. And remember that you don't have to decide anything today. You don't have to decide your next musical muse song. You don't have to decide your word. You don't have to decide what new you version you're trying to bring in right now. Sit, embrace, and overall thank yourself, right? Thank your body, your mind, your spirit for showing up and being so consistent. Hence my word this year, but that you consistently wake up every day, even for those of you who might find it difficult. Something primal in you is getting you up, just like that primal Dream On note by Aerosmith. Lean in, and know that sometimes your rising may feel more subtle and unclear, but it doesn't mean that it's missing.
So as I reflect on what you just said, again, when I was thinking and pausing and thinking about how awesome we were singing during our the musical muse because we were amazing. Again, so during my reflective pause, what came up for me was what did I bring up? What did I bring in? And I did. I'm not gonna lie. What did I bring in from 2025 to 2026? Because it's not like 2026 comes in and you're like, great, all that negative baggage in 2025 is cut off. No, it's like the baggage luggage thing at the airport. It just keeps coming and
Coming around and
and
around.
around and around. You don't. I would like for it to just hit the off button.
I mean, I see people on the internet saying that they want to cancel their 2026 subscription only 7 days in. So there's some things that we brought over.
There's a lot. We bring it over every year, if we're being honest. So for me, if I'm going to reflect, and then I'm working on it, and maybe you're out there too, and YouTube land, Spotify land, whatever you're listening to on what platform, is the what if baggage. Well, what
Mm.
if? What if? Right? And that's my biggest baggage. Like, well, what if there's a lot going on in the world. So it's like, well, what if tomorrow this happens? What if, guess what? You, what if the answer is, can I change whatever scenario in my head in the next a minute and a half, 2 minutes? If the answer is no, then you're using your energy unnecessarily for a scenario that is not, it's not being, you're not able to fix it. So you want to refocus that energy on what if to what what I can do, right? Instead of what if, it's like, okay, what if this happens? No,
What I
here's
can do
what
is
I can do is exactly. So reframe that focus from what if this to what I can do is this. I have control. And then what that does is it gives you a sense of agency. It gives you a sense of power and control to say, I am able to control this. What I'm not able to control, I'm not even going to think about. Because if you're not able to control it, then what's the point of thinking about it? So that is what I want you to reflect on and pause on, and just just kind of sit with that. And then also too, with what the rising one can feel like, it can feel, sometimes it can feel subtle and unclear, right? So when you're talking about the rising one within you, you can feel like, well, I what is this feeling, right? Like in Wicked,
what is
is
this
this
feeling
feeling so
so sudden and new?
chat, by the way, you guys didn't know, but
I
it sounds
love
like
that you keep calling our wild ones chats. I'm gonna have a lot of clients who are in the older generation say, "Why are you guys calling us chat?"
I mean, I would how okay, wild ones. Should I just suggest us wild ones?
Call them chat. I think they're embraced. They know that they're family
Your
here.
family. I'm gonna call you guys chat. You guys are chat because again, I know you guys are gonna be chatting with us, engaging with us, because that's how we're gonna get this. But again, like, what is this feeling so sudden and new and wicked, right? So you sometimes when you bring up these feelings of your wild one, it could be unclear. You could feel a little bit jolted, a little bit unclear about, wait, this feels off. Like, it's a uncertain feeling. It's a new feeling. It might be exciting. It might be even a little bit scared. You're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't. But you're challenging yourself. You're pushing yourself in a way to where you're bringing out the best version of yourself. So that's what we want to encourage you to do. Is yeah, this podcast may bring up feelings. We may ask you to gently push your boundaries. But again, don't push your boundaries past what you feel uncomfortable. But say you push them a little bit and then you're feeling a little bit uncertain and a little bit ambiguous. You're like, I don't know. That is just your wild one rising. And that's when, if you want to talk to your family, talk to your friends and say, hey, I'm discovering myself, and engage with us. Like, that's why we're here. And this is why we do our podcast for you.
One of the things that we try to remind everybody from our practice side with Luminous Self is the idea that if you want to be someone new, you have to do things you've never done before. And so, yeah, sometimes that means going outside of maybe your comfort zone without pushing boundaries, right? Finding ways to rest and be creative, but most importantly, let go of the expectations that no longer serve you and try something new.
And then also too, like your rising wild one, some people are gonna think it's like the movie. It's like, oh, this it's gonna be this exciting new discovery. Not necessarily, right? It's a process. It takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. So just because if you are rediscovering yourself, it's not always gonna be exciting. So just keep that in mind. You know, it's not going to something it can be exciting, but maybe not. And then also too, you know, you also want to slow down and then just kind of pause.
I think you're nailing it. It's all about discovery, acceptance, and pausing in the moments that you need. And we, are so thankful that you guys have joined us. We are at the midpoint of January
Yeah.
already. And we know that sometimes rising includes hard moments. Sometimes rising means rising out of grief or discomfort. And that's all very normal. And when we are doing things we've never done before, sometimes parts of us will show up resistant. And we just want to move from a place of compassion for all those parts that feel unsure as to what we're doing this year and honor them and say, hey, our wild one is rising. Let's go along for this journey. And most importantly, we don't want to rush what is rising. We want to tend to it like a gentle little garden. We want to weed out the things that don't belong. We want to water and fertilize and let what's rising grow big, wild, and beautiful.
And also too, I want to emphasize the importance of flexibility because nothing is certain. Again, what I said earlier in the podcast is being adaptable, but also adaptability goes in hand with flexibility. So if life throws you a curveball, you're like, hey, you may be type A and say, no, X, Y, Z has to happen because I said so. But if things happen, if it doesn't happen that way, you also have to give yourself some flexibility, you know, and also that growth does not, require perfection. Do not, we all want to, some of us have a people pleasing mode. I know you,
Some, not everyone, definitely
no,
not me.
not you, not you.
Definitely not.
My
Definitely not.
sarcasm meter is off the scale right
I
now.
can name, I know. Are we making ourselves sarcastic enough for them to hear?
You're right. Anyway, so sarcasm is Susie's a perfectionist, people pleaser, and again, I try to help her and coach her, but again, a part of us wants to be try to be perfect. But just accepting that, growth is not perfection. Growth is going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, and it may need support. You may fall, but just have a support group that has their hand extended to you to say, "Hi, when you fall, I will help you up." Okay? So don't expect perfection, but you can always anticipate a support group if you have it around you. So we just want to encourage you to just kind of explore that.
So, if you are wondering, what have we been babbling on
Mhm.
about over this last 45 minutes? It's a reminder to get rid of old expectations that don't serve you, get rid of societal pressures that don't support you or encourage you, that don't serve you, and think about what you need. Pause and ground yourself. You are right on time where you need to be, and that naming your word and what you feel rising in you is an ongoing process. Offer it warmth and reassurance and embrace anything that wants to rise this year. You don't have to settle on just one, but we got to take one step at a time. So choose wisely. And we hope that you can find us on your social media. If you listen to the end of our podcast, we have all of our social media plugs there, ways for you to connect with us. And we want to hear, what are you hoping to rise in your wild one this year?
And we also want to encourage you again. This is your platform, not ours. This is a platform that we've created for you to engage, to support, to assist in whatever challenges you face. So please reach out, comment, give us suggestions about future podcasts, or just even if you're like, hey, I have a story I want to share, maybe can I be on your podcast? Reach out to us.
Absolutely, you
We
can
would
be on our podcast.
Yeah, we would love to just engage with you. This is a podcast for you, wild ones. Again, wild ones rising in 2026 and beyond. We are here for you. Let's unite, let's connect, and let's just be there for one another.
Remember, this year isn't asking you to hurry, but it's asking you to listen. And with that, we always want to leave you with our warm welcome.
Welcome
Welcome home,
home.
wild ones.